You face 1 second.
One face, no second.
One face, no second.
Okay, I'm good.
All right, hello everyone, and welcome back. It has been a fucking minute since we have actually sat down and played some AshWinter. Our last session was on December 13th, which was a month and 11 days ago, and the session before that was on 11/15 of 2019, which that means that in the last 3 months we have played 2 sessions max. That's I feel like I haven't seen you guys in a while, and I was like, man, I'm really missing them. And then I went back and looked, and I was like, that's why we haven't played any D&D.
How dare we?
How dare we? We are back, and I hope you're all excited to come back because I am. Just a brief refresher before we get into the session. Last session, you dealt with River, the girl that fully cooled her way out of Lily's head. And
wait, what?
So
Oh yeah, by the way.
we'll get to it.
Okay.
Maybe goodbyes and new beginnings is the place to start. So Lily and Oz talk to Jurgle and Chandacool to figure out what they need to capture a Nightwalker. Zuma discussed the Stormbow's origin, learned that it contains the soul of Valeria Brightmar, who was a mute champion of Thor, who ran around and basically was like a paladin of justice. Seraph, as a note, did roll at some point, and she definitely knew she if the name came up, she would know who Valeria was. Eve tried to commune with the Raven Queen, but was interrupted by a woman named River, who asked her to get Lily to send a sending. Party later convened in the temple, and Lily sent the sending to River, who then hijacked the kind of magical tether that sending creates in order to use Lily as a portal into this particular plane of existence.
She got the crap punched out of her. I feel so sorry.
Oz just about killed her, like real close. And I just have the note: the party beat the shit out of River, 12 HP.
It was the bear, and it was also Oz.
Yep. River explained that a deity from Toril was interfering with matters in Aram. She suspected it might be one of the gods related to death, potentially Kelemvor. The party returned to Thunder's Reach and returned Groin's soul to his body. And then they sent a sending to Triss and asked her to meet with them. The next day, Triss did arrive at Thunder's Reach Keep. I think it's called Thunder Peak Keep. And the meeting commenced. The party told her about River. Detect Thoughts and Zone of Truth was cast on River. Her true intentions were revealed. Her primary goal is to find Oriana Ashcroft. She was then informed that she might be a little late to the party. Triss agrees to take River under her care and agrees to research more information about the dagger that River presented, which is got an interesting symbol on it, and do some research on the symbols presented. There is a list of allies that was given to Triss as she requested. Zavel the Watcher, Morvanan the Peacekeeper, Ayla the Windseeker, Salathiel the Librarian, Kuvek the Uncanny, House Bainray and Reza of the Drow, Valkyria Moonblade, Sigil, Fantasia of Elsewhere was the full list that was given. Oz and Lily then absconded to a temple, I believe, of Saloon. And it was a temple of
No, it was a temple saloon.
Right, it was a temple of the Saloon.
Because it was her duty.
Yeah. That's right, yeah. Okay. Yeah. It's Temple of Saloon. And since the soul bond with Luna was broken when Lily cast her magic there, she formed a soul bond with Oz instead. This soul bond came with a variety of benefits, which I believe you guys have the list now.
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Zuma and Suki chat about life. No, it doesn't. Zuma and Suki chat about life for a while. Seraph explores the market stalls, has a kebab. Groin rests in the keep, recovering after his long ordeal. Eve chats with Sir Rutherford.
He wants fuzzy everything.
He loves his fuzzy. He's a very cuddly beholder. Oz and Lily head to Hillsfar to learn that Cormier has been struggling somewhat with Oz's following. Oz's following, I had the number written down, but it's not in this particular set of notes, so I'll have to go look again. But it's grown considerably, and Cormier is having some management problems with it. Oz has been working on getting that sorted out. Also, the Cormyr was instructed that this is in fact not a cult. It is a collective.
Damn right. I'm sorry. I'm channeling Stephen for you.
So yeah, it's not a cult. It's a collective.
It's also what he said to Trist.
Mm-hmm.
But she's
And
like,
that's also
I'm so convinced.
that's also yeah, that's true. And Oz had Cormyr begin an investigation using the resources of his collective into the Midnight Order. And after that was said and done, he called in several individuals, several spies from the collective itself, and had them begin investigating Cormyr himself. So yeah, interesting stuff. But that is where we left off with Lily and Oz still in Hillsfar, still in the Quiet District, still.
I'm pretty sure there was one in Thunder's Reach. I don't think they went off that far, did they?
There was what in Thunder's Reach?
A Temple of Saloon?
No, yeah, they went to Hillsfar because they
Yeah, we
wanted to they did the Temple of Saloon in Thunder's Reach, if I recall. But they went straight to Hillsfar for Oz to talk to Cormyr because their base of operations is still in Hillsfar. And another refresher as well, Hillsfar's guard has begun to kind of try to push the people of the Quiet District, Oz's followers, out of Hillsfar.
Yeah, they're not comfortable with an armed force there.
Yeah, they have designated them as a potentially dangerous militant threat at this point.
Something. Stop with your politics.
It's not a cult.
Something. It's a cult.
It's not a cult.
The Viscount is probably betraying them.
We'll see. So that is that. We are going to pick back up with an interesting event here. I'm assuming that you all we're going to kind of skip forward a little bit in the day to the next day. I'm assuming that you would have all rested and gone about your days and taken the day off to relax a little bit. Is that wrong or?
I really
no, you're right.
out. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you, Sam.
Think on it, maybe.
Hmm?
Said maybe. I'm looking at things. Second. No, you can continue.
Okay.
I'll let you know
So,
if I think of something.
Okay. What was that, Zuma?
Wait. Okay, never mind. Go ahead.
Great. So Seraph.
Oh no.
Dreams do not come easily to Valkyries, but they do come occasionally. And as you rest, you hear the sound of a hammer slamming down onto a slab of iron, a sound that you've heard many times in your home of Asgard. It is the great hammer of summoning, the hammer used to call all of the higher-ups in Asgard to the summit. Usually this is done by Odin, though several other deities have used it before, and even occasionally a Valkyrie has called a summit. But this time, you're not home. You are far, far, far away. But you still hear the ringing of the hammer. And before you know it, you are standing in this dream in an endless landscape, and you can see shadows forming around you. It is the Great Hall itself. And while you can see through objects and the different furnishings of the Great Hall, you find that you cannot interact with any of them as it begins appearing around you, transforming from black silhouettes to almost translucent specters of the Great Hall itself. You begin to see small lights as well, little tiny glowing orbs of fire. Orbs not even quite the right word. Little sparks of fire. And amongst these, you see several that are not sparks or embers, but roiling flames of white light. And soon shapes begin to form around them, the shapes of individuals, of Valkyries and gods. As they all take their seat at their various locations, you see the Council of Asgard form. You see several of the Valkyrian commanders there, as well as the commander of Asgard's primary military forces. You see several of the Asgardian deities there, as well as kind of the sub-deities and other notable individuals. And you see Odin rise, and he takes his massive staff of gnarled ancient wood, and a massive boom sounds throughout the great hall, and you find yourself standing almost directly in the center of it, and he looks directly at you. And he says, "Valkyr that I have sent to the mortal planes, have you completed your mission?"
Yes, I have.
A low hush kind of falls over the room itself. There's murmuring and, the usual whenever there's a council meeting like this. And he bangs his staff one more time and looks actually a little bit more annoyed than maybe you're used to seeing him. You see him look to you again, his heavy eyes falling on you like two spheres of midnight. "Then I have another mission for you. In this plane, we have discovered something of great importance to us. There is a place called the Crypt Garden. It is a forest of winding paths. And in the middle of this forest, there is a small cave. Inside this cave, there is a man. He wears an eye patch, one angry eye peering out from his face, green and twisted. Briars will sprout from his skin. There will be no hair to speak of. And one arm is completely missing. You will bring us this man." I don't think.
It was kind of
Is that something you can do?
Yes, I believe I can.
He nods. He is an exile of Asgard. And he looks to Loki, who usually doesn't attend these meetings.
Oh no.
And Loki rolls his eyes. He is he's an offspring of mine. We'll an offspring, yes. We'll leave it at that. And he kind of tilts forward, and the bell at the end of his jester's hat jiggles a little bit. Just, I would tell you to be gentle, but I know what's going to happen. Try not to remove his other arm. That one's important.
What would it even be important for?
I don't know, but I feel like it is. I feel like you need at least one arm. If you have just one, that's probably already a bit of a problem, but no arms makes you rather inefficient at most things. And Odin, you see Odin's face go from like this very serious scowl to just this utter look of just like, it's that stop talking face. That just, oh no, God, why did I let him speak? Loki, stay on track. Right, sorry, I get carried away. I don't like these stupid meetings. But there is that man. Yes, he is a son of mine, if that's what you want to call him, though I don't consider him my child. I consider him more of a liability than an asset. We need him off that plane and back to Asgard. He has something of mine, which is also something of mine. And Odin kind of just scowls at Loki again. Right, yep, that's what it is. Your greatness. And he just kind of gives this like half, almost sarcastic nod to Odin. Please retrieve this man. His name is Ulbrich.
I might need a spelling. Yeah.
I got
thank
it.
You.
There is no time sensitivity on this, but it is something that I would like you to accomplish for us. Do this. And he looks around the chambers. And your commanders have agreed to promote you.
Cool.
There is a reason the reward for this is so great. Ulbrich is a little aggressive. And he's very strong. You will need your friends to assist you. In the meantime, you can assist them in their quest. Theirs is important. And I would like you to see it through. When you come home, you will come home a general.
That is very kind of all of you. Thank you.
Kind of look over your like immediate superior is also there. She's one of the battalion commanders for the kind of Valkyrian forces, which are kept separate from the normal Asgardian military. Valkyries are kind of like a special ops force, almost, basically. And she just kind of gives you this solemn nod. The woman standing next to her is another one of the Valkyrian commanders. She is the general of all Valkyrian forces. They're broken up into several different kind of sections. In each section is assigned to its own deity. As is yours to Heimdall. And you do see Heimdall sitting there as well, off to the side. And he's smiling at you currently. But everybody seems to just kind of be looking at you expectantly currently.
Good. What did I not do?
Heimdall rises and he claps. And Heimdall is a giant of a man. He is Odin's about like 6'9", somewhere in there. So he's pretty big. Heimdall is like almost 11 feet tall. He is gargantuan. And he claps his hands just he gives this big belly laugh. She's going to do fine. Let her go. Leave her alone. And all of them. Your commander kind of looks to Heimdall and then to Odin. And Odin nods and bangs his staff one more time. Now, there is other business to attend. Seraph? Seraphina. Good luck. And he taps his staff on the ground lightly this time, and the room starts to fade away. And you find yourself falling into a dreamless sleep.
Probably should have asked if they wanted him alive. Considering the people I will be taking with me.
It was implied when Loki said, "Try not to take off another arm."
Hey.
I should have asked about the fingers.
Oh no!
You didn't think about
Because
that.
I did not ask about any other appendages.
Was completely justified. Sorry, just still feeling.
Listen,
Just hand him over, and he's only got like one toe left.
Well, you-
I wanted
can't-
to ask, but you didn't give me the chance. So here you go.
I'm sorry. You can't hand him over if you take off all his fingers. Really, then it's just a palm.
Oh.
Sam just evil laughing from the terror and rage he has caused.
Oh, it's great. It's so good.
Oh, I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to sell and buy stuff.
I think I wrote all of that down, Albert. Yeah.
Just
Yep.
double check.
Basically, there is a forest called the Crypt Garden. And in the center of the Crypt Garden, there's a cave with a man named Ulbrich, and they need you to go get him.
One eye, only one arm, green, no hair.
Go
Yes.
fucking get him.
So
Loki's
one-eyed,
offspring.
one-eared green people eater.
I will
Not
be
far off.
honest, I put Loki's offspring in bold.
Yep.
I feel like that is going to be the most important information.
I don't know.
Step on their throat and be like, I don't care what offspring you are, just die.
That means he's got a little bit of trickster in him, and I don't.
Listen,
mm.
it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be fine. All right.
What she doesn't know is it's actually me.
Oh God. It's been growing the whole time.
Nice.
So yeah,
You say
you-
it's turtles all the way down.
it's turtles all the way down. You all come to wake up feeling refreshed, having a rest, getting some breathing room. What are all of you going to do today?
I know what I'm doing today.
What are you doing today?
I'm gonna go try to visit my master.
Ooh. Now, so you're going to the Veilwood?
Yes, and I want
Oh.
to take Groin with me.
Oh, okay. All right. Okay.
I plan
If
on
he wants to
getting
come.
drunk today, but okay.
You know that the fastest way to the Veilwood is actually by boat. The Veilwood is a small island well, it's not so much an island as like a I don't know what the word for it is really. It's sort of an island.
Don't know what just happened
Groin
there.
uses surf. Groin just turns into a Lapras and you just surf along the coast. Hold on, wait.
Yes.
There's a battle. Missing number just appeared. Anyway,
Infinite arrows, baby.
right. So yeah, you know that the fastest way to get there is definitely by boat. It takes about 6 hours to reach the Veilwood by boat. By land, it takes you like pretty much a full day of travel by land, and you still have to go across the strait to the Veilwood because it's kind of its own little island. There is a very tiny sliver of land that connects the island with the mainland.
Yeah.
It's literally wide enough for a horse, and that is it. You cannot get you can't do 2 horses side by side. It is a very thin slice of land all the way, and it's barely above sea level. So anytime
Can't
there's
Groin summon like flying creatures?
he could do that.
Or be a horse.
Yeah, can't he
Listen,
turn
I've
into a
forgotten how to
flying
play
creature?
this character, okay?
I know, that's why I said it.
Thank you.
Was it
Can't he just turn into a flying creature?
He can.
Eh?
Level
I
18.
summoned
He's level
them, and you
18
can
druid.
just-
He can do whatever he wants.
Yeah.
I'm gonna summon 2 giant eagles. You could have just turned into one.
Yep.
Oh. Use
Something-
eagles.
Something I want to keep my wild shapes.
Yeah, I
that's-
was gonna
yeah,
say
that's fair.
spell slots was wild shape.
All right.
Oh,
Uh,
Ball
Man,
shapes
level
comes back
9
on short
spell
rest.
slot.
Wild shapes do come on back on short rest, but I
Mhm,
feel like
druids.
we won't get a short rest
Sure,
before
okay.
something would happen.
Yeah, you could summon giant eagles. Conjure
Yeah.
animals lasts an hour, I believe.
Yeah.
I'll let you know when I finish the
So
living.
you would have to cast it 3 times to get there. Because it's about twice as fast as by boat. So it's going to take you about 3 hours to get there via flying.
Fuck it. I'm gonna take the form of a giant. I'm a bird, motherfucker.
I'm a bird. Okay, sure.
Just fucking
Yeah.
spawn wings out and you fly as a turtle.
I'm hiding a fucking bird.
Oh God! Listen,
It's a bird. It's a plane. It's a turtle.
It's a
something
turtle
I'm-
bird.
something I'm trying to do with the idea of a druid in stuff that I'm working on right now is having a druid that can, instead of taking the form of an animal, they can give themselves animal traits. So they could give themselves like claws or gills or wings, etc. But they can do all of those at the same time. So I think that'd be interesting. Anyway, so Zuma, you're going to the Veilwood. You and Groin, I guess you just set off. Yeah, 3 hours to get there. Groin, you can stay as a. I think you can stay as a bird for like 6 hours.
Basically ever. Yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty much forever. You can stay as a bird for at least 6 hours, and you have 2 wild shapes. So you're gonna get there no matter what. You're great. And Zuma is definitely light enough to ride on your back the whole way there. Not comfortably. It's air travel on a giant eagle. It's not exactly comfortable. You're not living luxury, but it's workable.
I mean, it's no big deal.
Yeah. So right, this will be interesting. The Veilwood is a very particular place. So we're gonna circle around back to y'all because this is gonna be a little bit more of a longer segment. All right. Anybody else doing anything today while they're flying away?
Freaking the fuck out? Does that count?
You just wake up and you're like,
Yeah, I've got a lot of things to sell if anybody else wants to go.
No.
Yeah,
I really need
anything in
Oz here for what I
particular.
want to do.
yeah, it's kind of
Let's get it on.
Okay, there's
what are you wanting to do?
me?
No, Ara.
I've got some things I need to talk to him about.
Gotcha. Okay.
And potentially something to do.
Yeah, he didn't say anything about missing today.
Yeah,
I'm really
no.
sad.
Yeah,
Me
wasn't he
too.
talking earlier?
He was talking
was, yeah.
earlier. Yeah, he was
Yeah.
talking about his friend made an RPG that it's like got released and everything called Open Arms.
Yeah.
I think
Over Arms.
Over Arms.
Yeah, and it's getting released
And it
in
looks
May.
fucking awesome too. So.
Yeah.
All right, well, that's all good.
Just do everyone first. Maybe he'll still show up.
Sure, that's fine. So Eve, you're going to Waterdeep?
I think Hillsfar would be better suited, or Baldur's Gate.
Well, Baldur's Gate is the merchant capital of Faerun, so
Okay.
you can go to Baldur's Gate. Hillsfar is like the trade good capital. That's where, like, you know, if you're selling gold bars, that's probably a great place to do it.
Baldur's Gate, yeah. Because I have a lot of shit to sell.
Gotcha.
I do tell the Beholder that I'm leaving for Baldur's Gate.
Sir
So
Rutherford.
if they look for me.
Okay, no problem. So you do. I'm pretty sure you have a teleport to Baldur's Gate.
I can just, I could, I think I have teleportation circle now. Let me look. No, I don't, not just yet. I can, Dimension Gate there, the cube.
The cube? You have a cube for Baldur's Gate? That's right, because it casts plane shift on the prime material plane. Yeah, good enough. Yeah, so you do the thing. Hold on. No, Origin, I'm not signing into my EA Access account. Leave me alone.
I think
Go
it's
away.
been popping up on you a lot.
Okay, great. 53. Yeah, you managed to land like a kind of a considerable distance away from the main entrance. You're technically still in Baldur's Gate. It's just like you're in the like what's it called? It's not quite slums, it's like the shanty outside of the main walls.
Interesting.
Yeah, you're quite a ways from the main city itself, but you do land in Baldur's Gate. You make your way into Baldur's Gate. It takes you about 30 minutes to walk all the way into the city. And then find your way to the merchant district. Do you have a list of stuff that you're going to sell?
Oh yeah, you're not gonna like it.
Oh no.
That's just selling.
Oh, that's not that big. I've seen worse.
Oh, big buy orders though.
I've seen so much worse. Come on. All right, go ahead and roll me a d20.
Yes. 2. That's not good.
Oof. Oof.
That is not good.
Okay, sure.
You sounded so excited for that 2, and then you realized it was a 2.
2 is great when you're buying stuff. It's not so good when you're selling stuff.
Nope. I was like, wait, nope, that's not good.
Okay, no problem. got the huge ruby. You have the 2.5 million gold in gems and herbs.
Most
Maybe
likely,
we'll
I would
fight it.
reject anything. Everything.
You have a scroll of Druid's Grove that you're selling.
Unless since Groin wasn't here last time, do you want me to sell that or would you like to use it?
Uh-oh.
Jordan.
What? Sorry, I'm specifically looking for one specific thing. I'm so sorry. What's up?
You're fine.
We
What's up?
got a scroll of Druid's Grove.
Yeah.
You want me to
Okay.
sell it or do you want to use it for later? It's kind of
Okay,
like a
so,
sanctuary. Tiny hut.
I was gonna ask, what is a scroll of Druid's Grove?
So Druid's Grove is all of the casters have their own version of like this 7th level spell that basically creates a safe haven for you and your party.
Okay.
Druid's Grove is kind of the equivalent of like Temple of the Gods or Mordenkainen's Mansion.
Okay.
It basically just takes a like forest or thicket and turns it into like a really homey area. but-
Gotcha. Let us go ahead and keep that.
Okay.
Okay.
And minus that.
Sure, no problem.
I'm gonna go back to looking for this one very specific voice line.
Yeah, go for it.
Actually, fuck it. I can't find it.
And a potion of water breathing, nice.
And a scroll of water breathing. Because we don't need them. I cast water breathing on everybody every day. For 24 hours.
That's right, you guys can always breathe water, just like it's air.
Wait, seriously?
Yeah.
Yeah, as long as you're around Eve when you wake up.
Yep, I cast
Huh.
water breathing on everybody every day, and it lasts for 24 hours, and then I can recast it after a long rest.
If you know water breathing as a ritual and you're a ritual caster, you can do that. It's insane.
Right, I was gonna do that on What's Her
Wait, your
Pickle.
water breathing lasts 24 hours?
Yeah, water breathing lasts for 24 hours.
And it
What?
lasts-
What
Mhm.
level is that again?
3rd, I think.
Oh
'Cause-
no, I got that on her.
Or no,
Never
it's
mind.
not 24 hours. It's an 8-hour time, but if you adventure, it's pretty much, if you go out anywhere.
Pretty much for that whole day.
Yeah.
And I get my walking speed and swimming speed, and I can breathe water permanently.
It's a warlock thing. Okay, so
All right then. All right, yours is better. That's why I haven't been casting it. Right, I remember.
let me remember. It's been a minute. It's been a minute. Oh gosh, how does the system work again? So it starts 100%, and then it goes down based off of the roll by
Oh no, the
5%.
DM has forgotten how to do merch things. How dare
So
you?
yeah, so the span is 150. The span is 50 to 150. That's what it is. Okay, cool. I've got it now.
All
Okay.
I heard is that it's 1 billion gold.
Yeah. Yes. 100%. No.
Basically.
Yeah,
They-
quickly make up new rules.
This used to work a lot differently than it does now. It used to be the span was 25 to 150%. But I buffed the bottom of it because you guys were selling loot that was worth like 1,000 gold for like 250 gold very frequently. So okay, so in total that would be 2,124,000 gold.
No. Oh. Nope.
No?
Nope.
Just for reference, the full amount, you would know this. You're a merchant.
Yeah.
The full amount is like the market price is about 3.5 million. But going to different sellers and stuff, the highest that you seem to be able to get today is 2.1 million.
Okay.
Up
Out
to you.
of character, I'm gonna put this to a vote. Do I hold out or do I sell?
Hold out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my that was
Put
my
this to a
decision
vote.
too.
I got exactly the answer I wanted. Okay.
Yeah, pretty much.
I would have
Like-
sold it if you guys had told me to sell it.
That's
Yeah,
like
but you
the,
would have done it with like a really sad look on your face.
I would have.
That's like the meme of I'm only gonna do this if somebody likes this post and you like your own post. Okay.
Yep. Hey, a good way to figure out and make decisions is to flip a coin. If you have if you have a binary decision to make, flip a coin, and if you're disappointed with the result, pick the other one. Works 100% of the time. Never regretted that. Okay, so you're gonna hold out. Do you have a buying list for me?
Yes. Have
The
fun.
streets of Baldur's Gate are busy today. Oh my
Oh
god.
my god.
I warned you. Mostly scrolls and potions. Just
Yeah,
saying.
your
While this
face is a
happening,
scroll. Yeah?
I'm gonna take a quick bio because my bowels.
Yeah, go for it. This is gonna take a second.
Yeah, go ahead.
So my brain felt the need to explain that comment. And I'm so sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Okay. Holy shit, Heather. Sane item prices. If y'all ever want to see the item price sheet that I use, I base all of the prices in this campaign off of sane item prices, by the way.
Sane magical item prices. That
Yep.
fucking spreadsheet is it's so good.
It's good
Uh-huh.
and huge.
God bless whoever fucking compiled that.
I base it. I base all of my campaign stuff off of that, but in what lies below, I double the price of potions and scrolls.
Mainly because they're in
Yeah.
short use.
Mm-hmm.
Shortage.
Just try to kill us, guys.
And then I roll a d20 to figure out if they're even more expensive or not.
Oh boy.
Sometimes they're cheaper though.
Yeah, usually you have me roll a d20 usually. Don't know.
Come on.
What?
The what? Some of the stuff on there is adjusted as a note.
Oh no, I just saw something that blew my mind. Sorry.
Yeah, I do every day. I look in the mirror and go, oh.
Oh no, that's not. You stop that.
You realize you're Hank Hill?
Yes. Whoa. My
And-
name's Hank, and I'd like to sell you some propane.
And then I would like to go to the ogre at that chocolate shop.
Okay.
Chocolate.
Wow, you remembered that?
Yes. The two-headed
Holy-
the
Yeah, I
two-headed
remember
ogre.
that as well.
She had to get on the counter and dance for the guy.
Fuck
I
all of
remember
y'all.
that.
And then I gave him the idea to get like mage hands to do
I don't
tethering.
remember. I barely remember any of
Wait a
this.
minute.
It's like-
Is this the one that gave the address to Miriam's house?
No?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, never mind. Never mind. I was thinking someone else. Never mind.
Yeah, this is the one with the chocolate from hell.
And two-headed. He's a two-headed ogre. He's huge.
He's
Oh,
like
never mind.
Choco.
Then. Okay.
Okay, can you roll me? These are mostly potions and scrolls, right? Are
Yeah.
any of them not potions and scrolls?
It does
They are
not look
all
like it.
potions and scrolls. Can you please roll me 2 investigation checks?
Oh.
And you have a plus 10 bonus to these because you are in Baldur's Gate.
Investigation checks. Got it.
Well, we'll take the 2 rolls. So it's
Shadow
an
skill is helping, by the way.
so it's an 11 and a 19 and a 17. So it's 17. What's your investigation?
Did you hear me?
I heard you. It's 17 plus
Oh.
8
What
plus
the
10.
fuck is that on my nose?
17 plus 18. That's like 35, I think.
Uh.
Yes, it
Sorry,
is.
I had an ant crawling on my face.
So that's 13,
Wait.
and then 19, 18. So that's a 35 and a 37 on your investigation rolls for potions and scrolls. Baldur's Gate. So yeah, great.
Okay.
You... Let's see. Okay, well, now that you've made me hate myself,
I knew I needed to go to at least Baldur's Gate to buy.
can you roll me 2d20s, please?
I already did. 11 and a 19.
Oh, I took those as your investigation checks.
Oh, okay. Well,
Because I asked for investigation checks, so
there.
great.
18 and a 1.
Nice. Very expensive, very cheap.
At least it wasn't a nat 20. And a 1. Sometimes you win some, maybe sometimes you lose some.
I always lose. Okay, give me a moment while I look up all of the prices for this. Jeez, Heather,
Funny face.
why are you like this?
I like to be prepared, and some of these scrolls are for like, well, one of them is at least for Inazuma, pass without a trace, and help us in the long run. And the healing potions are for just in case.
Okay, well, life is an endless series of torments.
Uh-oh. It's fine. I'll just become a wizard and learn all of the spells.
See, that's why I play wizard. That's why I think my favorite combo to play is 2 levels in paladin and then a whole bunch of levels in either war magic or abjuration wizard.
Oh, jeez.
Because then you know like 1,000 spells and you can wear heavy armor and smite people.
What is
Nice.
this?
Can't you wear Oh, right. That's
Eat
the
this
point of the
paladin
paladin.
smite.
I fucking love Joe Cat. He's been doing like weird animated videos about himself lately, and they're also really good. Let's see.
Just fireball.
Just fireball. Teleportation circle, not teleportation. Okay, cool. Sorry, having to make basically a spreadsheet here.
Sorry.
Greater invisibility, superior supreme healing.
Uh-huh.
Healing. Supreme healing. Fire resistance.
Never heard someone so distressed before.
That's how I do.
Sometimes I wonder if life is anyway.
Well, you need to not. Okay, because it is. I'm assuming it was...
Resistance to all damage. Okay. Yeah. All right. So I would say with a 37, yeah, you find a singular potion of invulnerability.
Okay.
37.
Yeah, with a 37.
What?
That's why I put if I can, because I know they're extremely rare to get.
They are extremely rare, and you did find one. Okay, so the prices on this, you rolled an 18 and a 1. Your potions are pretty cheap. Your scrolls are a little more expensive, but scrolls are in high demand. Potions aren't right now. So the scribe that handles all of your scrolls, hold monster. What level is a hold monster? It's an 8th level spell.
Not sure.
Yeah, hold monster is an 8th level spell. Mass suggestion's an 8th level spell. Mass suggestion's 7th level. No, it's 6th level. I can't count. I'm bad. Spell magic is the 3rd level. Shopping episode, folks.
This is a new song.
Yes, it is.
Pretty.
This is sick.
Oh yeah.
Fits.
Before, whenever we were gonna have that last session, but we had to cancel because of the fucking
I remember-
tornadoes.
Yeah, you said.
Yeah, I added a bunch of music.
Yeah.
This
I
is
love
also, yeah, I do too. I love it. This is called Yester Yearning, and it is, I believe this one is also from Roll for Fantasy. It's kind of cool because if you look through all of Emily's stuff, all of her early songs, you can kind of hear where she was uncomfortable making the music. And then, like, all of the later songs turn into this kind of stuff, and I'm like, wow, she got really good.
I'm trying to find it. What did you
Spell.
say it was called?
Yester Yearning. I just use her SoundCloud rather than her YouTube. Easier to
Okay,
navigate.
Fine.
Fine.
Is she a SoundCloud rapper?
She might be. 280 each. Enlarge Reduce is a 2nd level spell, correct?
Not sure. I think so.
Oh god, you're useless. What?
Thank you.
Listen here, you.
You said it, not me.
Damn.
Hank, I will fight you. Okay, your multiplier is 1.4 on these.
Yeah, I couldn't tell you even if I want to. The information thingy's bugging out again.
Pass Without Trace is also 168. Tongues is level 5 spell scroll. Tongues is kind of expensive. Jeez.
Worth having.
I'm gonna round some of these to make it easier. Easier math is better.
I literally just made
Big
a
truth.
cloud so that I can follow her.
Mood. Dimension Doors level 4. 20 times 1.4 is 400.
And then I'll just nitpick.
Scrying is a level 5. Greater Invisibility is a level 5 or 4 or 5. It's a level 4. I am bad again.
That was a potion. That wasn't a scroll.
No, you also listed a scroll of Greater Invisibility.
Did I? Really?
Yes, you most certainly did. Okay, we add a 0 to all of these because we multiplied by 10 with the new gold system. God, y'all are so rich, it's like, why do I even bother pricing stuff?
That's honestly true at this point.
It really is.
Something late stage capitalism. Something.
She, she could buy this whole shop right now. Like, she could just slam gold on the counter and buy the whole shop.
Probably.
Literally.
Even though I'm broke as hell compared to everybody.
Here are your scrolls.
Okay.
You do not find any scrolls of Hold Monster, Mass Suggestion, Prismatic Spray. Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Because those are all over level 5, and scrolls over level 5 don't exist.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, you're fine. Dispel Magic, 3 of them, they are 2,800 each. Enlarge Reduce, 3 of them, 1,700 each. Pass Without Trace, same as that one. You find 2 Scrolls of Tongues, they're level 5 spells, so they're 9,000 each. Which, considering you have 2.1 million golden loot right there, I don't think that matters. 2 Dimension Doors, 4,500 each. 1 Scrying, 9,000. 2 Greater Invisibility at 4,500, and 1 Teleportation Scroll, Teleportation Circle at 4,500. For your potions, you have a very, very cheap modifier here. You rolled a 1, right?
Yep.
That means that they are 50%. Which is great because that's easy math.
By the way, while you're doing the math, at some
Yeah,
point
sure.
I'm gonna need help with my money because I just opened up my journal and realized I never changed it over and I have no clue how much money I have.
You're fine. I will assist you. Basically, take everything that you have, convert it to gold, and multiply that gold number by 10.
Yeah, the problem is I don't remember how to convert it to gold.
You're fine. I'll help you out. Superior healing. These are pretty hard to get. You don't have very many of these. Supreme, it's the harder one. Okay, yeah. So superior, you do find quite a few, actually. Superior healing. God, you're so cheap right now.
She calls this music sad music. This is not sad music.
It's somber, but it's not sad.
Yeah,
No,
somber would be a better word.
I connect this with like a wonder in nature.
Yeah, I think it could be there too.
like wandering around in a forest and just
Or in
like
the
it
Fae.
just reminds me of Minecraft, like running around in Minecraft
Mhm.
and discovering new biomes and shit.
Fun fact: my most listened to song of the decade, according to Spotify, was, or maybe not song. It was just artist. Yeah, my most listened to artist overall of the decade was
C418.
Yeah, 418, the Minecraft artist.
Yeah.
Because I listen to the Minecraft soundtrack at work all the time.
Well, there's that, and also his other music is really good.
Yeah, it
too.
is super good. Fire resistance potions. Oh wow. Okay. Yeah, that's hilarious. Okay, and then I'm gonna roll for this
Since
one.
we went to hell twice, so might as well have a surplus of those.
Wow. Okay.
Did that right?
Just so you know, potions of invulnerability are absurdly expensive. Throwing that out there.
Okay, but I got it preferably cheap.
Yeah,
You did.
I would
That's
say,
true.
Like, isn't that a 9th level spell?
No.
So
It doesn't do the
vulnerability?
same. It doesn't do the same thing as the spell.
Oh, okay.
Invulnerability gives you resistance to all damage. For like an hour. Yeah, I could see that.
Gotcha.
And I do not use the same price as sane magical items because I think that they make that way too cheap for what it is. Okay, so here are your potions. Shopping.
Just calculating the thing.
On the format here, the first number is how many there are available, and the second number is the price each.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
Okay, I'm going to do this. 5.
Yeah, she does really good on all of her music, and her websites are super useful. I use them all the time, like literally constantly.
Shea Weber won the hardest shot competition at All Stars just now. Anybody want to take a guess of how fast the shot was?
200 miles an hour.
That's humanly impossible. But 106.5 miles an hour.
Jeez.
Oh wait, is this hockey?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I overestimated so much.
That's insane.
106.5 from a human.
I can't even imagine 106
Sheesh.
miles an hour like that from
It's
a
like-
from a person.
It's like a daggum pitch right there.
Yeah,
Pitches are fast pitches are considered 99 to 102.
yeah, but that's a freaking baseball, not a hockey
No,
puck.
but again, like what I'm saying is, it's going 4 miles faster in the same amount of time.
I know, and it's a hockey puck, not a
It's-
baseball. It's
It's
heavy.
a hockey puck that's heavy and nothing but pure cold rubber.
Did he
This will.
fucking break the stick?
No.
Oh, so there was, I think it was Smarter Every Day that built this little contraption. He put 2 bats and made a propeller out of them, basically, and tried to hit the maximum distance home run he could. And he had like he tried a bunch of different bats, and he straight up just snapped a bunch of wooden bats in half. They had to switch to like basically steel bats because he had the machine going so quick.
Look at the flex on his stick though. That's how they get it is flex.
Oh yeah, yeah. That's how everything works. Bendy vibrations.
Yeah, that's why there was one year they weren't going to do the home run derby because it was such a warm spot, because when it's warmer weather, the ball is more elastic, and so when it bounces off of a bat, it just slings super far, because it would have been way too easy to like do it or whatever. Or that was a debate or whatever one year where they were doing the All-Star game. They're going to do it like in Arizona or something.
All right. So, while she's figuring out her stuff, Spirit, what are you doing with your day?
I don't know. I guess with everyone gone, I really wouldn't know what to do.
Okay.
This isn't really my place.
You're fine. Okay. You like kind of just hang out around Thunder Peak Keep.
I have a question.
Sure.
How do Valkyries view Aasimar?
Oh, Valkyries and Aasimar are
I mean, I am an Aasimar.
yeah, they're kind
Yeah.
of the same thing more or less. Like Valkyrie isn't a like a race. It's not like a type of creature. Valkyrie is a station.
Mm-hmm.
So like anyone can become a Valkyrie. Technically speaking, anyone can become a
Okay.
Valkyrie. Aasimar are just, you know, they're celestials, and like Asgard is Aasimar's home plane.
Mm-hmm.
Well, some Aasimars, some are born in Celestia, etc., etc., but Aasimars are just born in any of the upper planes.
Mm-hmm.
So they're natives basically.
So it's
Okay.
more of a job. I always thought it was like an order.
I mean, kind of. It's less of a job and more. It is like an order,
Okay.
but it's like a station. It's like a status.
okay.
Like if you're a Valkyrie, it's like being a Marine. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah. We view them as people, Will.
Aasimar are people too. Everyone's people except for the
You can't
kobolds.
just buy people.
See, right, exactly. Kobolds are not people.
Oh my god.
Kobolds are people.
They
They're
have
just a different-
scales and
They're
tails.
just a different kind of
Just
people.
because you're an animal type person does not make you not a person, okay?
They
I mean,
have scales and they have tails. What about Zhao? Is he a person?
I have scales and tails.
Yeah, Chelsea person.
Oh my gosh. So
Zhao's
for full
Shao
reference,
also doesn't have the IQ of like 20 though.
for full reference,
that's-
Ara plays a character named Rel in What Lies Below, and they ran into a necromancer named Balakabsul once, and he offered them deals. He said, "Oh, you can sacrifice souls to me in exchange for power." And Rel was like, "You know, we know a lot of kobolds." And from there, it just turned into a big thing.
Nice.
So now we know that Rel hates kobolds. They aren't people, I guess. The
It's
saddest of
dumb.
They are a type of people.
Are they
And the
dumb?
only one that Rel felt sympathy for and wanted to save died.
It's that poor mage that died.
I wanted that mage
Ah.
so badly.
Listen, kobolds are reverse people. Whenever they're by themselves, they are absolutely idiotic and mostly unable to function. But whenever they're in a group, they are a highly organized, extremely efficient, very intelligent unit.
Never
They're
have
ants.
I felt so attacked by something that is so true.
Bro, if you want an example of how clever kobolds are, there's an episode of Critical Role where
Oh yeah. Oh
yeah,
my god.
you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah, there's a couple of situations in like famous situations where kobolds have been displayed as gotten to display their intelligence. I don't know if any of you have ever heard of Tucker's kobolds,
Yes.
but if you haven't, you need to go and look up Tucker's kobolds. It is horrifying.
you and I
Tuckers.
talked about this. It
Yeah.
was
So Heather, are you
Hawaii.
ready?
Oh yeah, I'm buying all but 10 of the fire resistant potions.
Okay. You're buying everything except for 10 of the fire resistance potions.
That is a total of 300,007. This. I give up on speech.
It's okay. Dyslexia fucking sucks. I understand. 372,600.
Yep.
All right. Really? Yeah, I
Yep.
guess it is. That's so cheap. God.
Got a stupid expensive roll and then a super cheap roll. So
Yeah. All right. So yeah, you buy everything. Go ahead and add that to your inventory.
I am right now. And I barely have anything left, so hopefully I can sell that loot soon.
Yeah, it's up to you. We're going to kind of pan over here. Zuma and Groin, you are headed towards the Veilwood. Now, the Veilwood is an interesting place, and as the island comes into view, Zuma, you are familiar with this particular
Yep.
route. You have lived in the Veilwood a lot of your time. There are little outposts along the edges of the Veilwood, of other hunters, and you're mostly by yourselves or in small groups of like 3 or 4 people. You lived on the southern side of the island for quite a while, and right now you're actually approaching from the northern side. You're still familiar with it. Oh, okay. Anyway, so Steven replied. He said he's got stuff going on right now. He'll update us
Yeah.
later. So hope he's okay. So you where was my train of thought? Hold on, I've got to find the train again. There it is. Veilwood approaching. You know that the Veilwood itself, the forest is magical, and that certain approach routes don't work. You will get turned around, you will get lost. Ships will literally disappear from the ocean. It is a little bit of a mystical area, and you know how to avoid these things that cause tragic accidents. And so you and Groin kind of fly around to a specific part of the island where aerial entry is valid, and you won't, like have some kind of random horrible accident. Managed to land on the beach of the Veilwood itself. It's got a small beach is a strong word for it since it's all ice water basically. It's not quite frozen because it's a little bit further south of Thunder's Reach, but it is still very cold here. And most of this is tundra. Think like Alaska is kind of the environment here. So as you land on the beach, you notice the kind of when you were flying over this is the outpost number 4, I believe. Yeah, this would be outpost 4. Completely and totally empty. You did not see anybody. That doesn't mean there's nobody there, but you did not see anyone around outpost 4, and there's usually like 4 or 5 hunters stationed there. And you land, and you are now on the Veilwood, and you kind of take a breath of air, and you smell the familiar smell of like the all the conifers mixed with the salt of the sea, and it's a smell that you've been around your whole life, and it's instant nostalgia.
Smells like shit.
Thanks, my friend.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
No, I know. It's a different smell. It's just very pure. Not a lot of it is. Not a lot of places in the world are like this.
So, what are we doing here?
We're gonna go find my master. I haven't heard from him before everything went down, and I need to make sure he's okay. I spoke with him a few times, thanks to Lily, but I need to go see him for myself because I don't know if he's still okay or if he's all together. I'm just curious. I gotta ask him some questions about things. But I figured you'd want to come with me because this place is pretty. If I figured you having a druidic nature, you would love to experience what pure, unadulterated nature is like, where there's hardly any, artificial interactions, I guess you could say, aside from, these outposts.
Put my hand on a tree. This is nice. I like it. Let us go.
Yeah.
Let's go find this master.
Okay. So you begin through the forest. Now, Zuma, I think I've explained this quite a few times. You've been into the Veilwood and you hunt in the Veilwood, but there's like certain points where you just don't go past. It is known that is super dangerous. You know that Oishi lives near that kind of barrier. It's not so much a barrier as just like a border. He does move around a bunch. Oishi is a fun type because he doesn't live in one spot. He's very nomadic. He roams the forest, the border of the kind of like inner zone of the forest. He never goes in there, and he's always instructed you never enter into the inner zone of the forest, but he does hang around the very edge of it. And you begin going into the forest. You know its dangers. You know the forest itself, and every footstep seems to bring back memories. It's like going back to a park that you used to play at as a kid. You've been away for quite a while now, years, but every step brings back that almost muscle memory at this point of don't go over here, don't go over here, and you start to find your old familiar routes through the forest. And it's so strange because to a normal person this wouldn't they would probably get lost, but to you each tree is slightly different. Every branch says hello in a different way, and you easily start to make your way through the forest. Go ahead and just roll me a single survival check with advantage, please.
Both of us or just him?
Just him.
Okay.
Yeah, you have absolutely no problem navigating through this forest. Now, finding Oishi is going to be a little bit more difficult. That is somewhat more challenging, and I'm going to put you up to a couple of skill challenges here.
Okay.
Heading through the forest, you hear something large move not far from you, and you stop and listen for a moment, and you hear it again up. What is your passive perception, Zuma and Groin?
24.
15.
Nice. Okay. You both notice this. There is a large, what looks at first glance, what looks like a boulder, just it almost seems to pick itself up and then drop itself in place, walking through the forest. However, the next time it does this, you Groin.
Would I recognize this as an earth elemental since I go into one all the time?
No, this is not an earth elemental. It looks, it's not quite the same thing. Whenever it raises up, Zuma, you've seen these a couple of times because these are native to the Veilwood. Groin, you've seen something similar to this before, but never anything of this sheer size. This thing is about probably 50 feet across, and it has to it literally knocks down trees sometimes while it's doing this. But when it picks itself up, what looks like bits of earth coming out of the bottom of it, you quickly realize are legs.
It's a treant? Sorry, I'm just
sort of, not quite. 12 spindly legs come out from the bottom of the boulder and push it forward and then retreat back into it over and over and over. And you see now 2 massive claws at the front of the boulder. And you realize this is a gargantuan crab.
Crab. Okay.
It's covered in moss and algae. Zuma, you've seen these. These are very unique crabs that are only native to the Veilwood. They are typically not very aggressive unless it's mating season, in which case they will kill you.
Yeah.
However, you know the time of year right now, it's fine. They are typically very, very gentle creatures, and they are herbivores. They eat tree bark. Continuing onwards, you stop for a second. Your passive perceptions are both high enough for this, yeah. You stop for a second deeper into the forest, and find yourself confronted with a little bit of a dilemma as you notice a large, what looks like reptile, perhaps, blocking your way. You don't notice it until you're pretty much right up on it because it blends in so well with the foliage around it, but quickly you realize that there is a huge serpent winding its way through the forest. As you approach, I need you both just to make me a stealth roll. Okay, 18.
I roll good.
Nice.
I roll bad.
That's amazing. Rogues. Yeah, so 18 and 18, just enough. The serpent does not seem to have noticed you, but it has stopped moving and it is currently in your path. You could attempt to go around it. You could attempt to sneak directly by it. The choice is yours, how you want to handle this, but there is a giant serpent, and Zumi, you've seen these before. This is an elder basilisk. They typically stay within the inner zone of the forest, but they are known to come out of the inner zone to hunt. They are extremely aggressive. They are also pretty dangerous.
Yep.
So it's up to y'all how you handle this.
I whisper to Groin. As much as I love to, take back a trophy, I think we should just sneak around this thing. Be very, very quiet, if you can.
I've got a better idea. How big? Question. How big is big? Like, what are we talking?
Its body is about as thick as a tree trunk.
Okay, but how long is specifically what I'm
You
looking
don't
for?
have a grasp on how long it really is, but it's at a minimum, it's at least 150 feet.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's gonna be a little close, but just let this happen, okay? Okay, Zuma.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah.
I look 120 feet in the opposite direction and cast Erupting Earth.
Erupting Earth? What does Erupting Earth do?
Sorry. How can I ping this now? They changed things.
Oh yeah, they changed the spells a lot. It's interesting. You can still ping it, but just by clicking on it. The name.
I clicked on it and it just wanted to cast it, but okay, there we go. That's not going to help at all.
Oh, I see. Okay. No problem. I will.
Choose a point you can see on the ground within range. A fountain of churned earth and stone erupts in a 24-foot cube centered on that point. Range is 120 feet.
Okay, great.
Basically making the world's largest distraction.
The range is 120 feet. 1 foot. Oh, wow. Nice. Okay. You look 120 feet in the opposite direction and basically almost like a volcano of earth happens immediately. It's an explosion, a pyroclastic eruption of earth, stone, and rock, and granite just explodes outwards, and you watch the serpent respond quickly to it by heading directly towards the source. You watch Zuma, you watch its head. It has these kind of frills along the top of its head, and they all stand up to attention and then all sit right back, and the serpent takes off. And for a 100 foot plus long serpent that's as thick as a tree trunk, this thing moves incredibly quickly. Do y'all book it because it's gone?
Yeah.
We quietly book it.
Quietly book it.
Yes.
Okay. Roll me 2 more stealth checks real quick. Gonna give it disadvantage on its perception here. Oh god. Okay. Yeah.
Arguing for
You're good.
advantage.
You're good. It rolled a natural 1, and its perception's not all that high, so you're good.
Scream for advantage.
Well, because it's distracted.
No, well, I gave it disadvantage on its perception because it's distracted, but you
Okay.
still succeed.
Yeah.
So yeah, you book it straight out of the lethal area of this particular creature, an elder basilisk. Going further into the forest, let me go over to this real quick.
Good distraction back there.
Thank you. Yeah, I was pretty proud.
A little loud, but hey, I mean, didn't want to deal with
Job
this
done.
thing. Trust me, I've had to tangle with these a few times, and I nearly escaped, which is saying a lot. A lot of people
Yeah.
don't really escape those things.
You recall one specific instance of an elder basilisk coming out of the forest, and it took 6 hunters to take it down, and one of them died in
Yeah.
the process.
I'm not gonna lie, there was
Yeah,
a part of
someday.
me that was tempted to try to talk to it.
I was gonna say this was a friend situation.
Yeah, exactly. Friend.
How's he
You
doing?
guys
Do
haven't
you-
noticed
do
I
you talk-
cannot remember this dude's voice, by the way.
You were talking a lot like this
Like
the
this.
last
Okay,
time.
there
Yeah,
we
you
go.
were just really relaxed
you
and
are-
kind of
'cause
chill.
you're- Turtle, basically.
I'll be
Yeah.
honest, I laughed at your
Okay.
first sentence that you said in
Uh-huh.
like Groin, because the first half of the sentence came out as as the bear, And then the second half of the sentence came out as growing. It's just like, this is beautiful.
Look, point it all laugh at the idiot who can't remember the character.
No,
You're good. You're good.
no. The best part is you remembered both of them.
Yes. They are both just a part of you. Okay, you escape the Elder Basilisk. Give me one moment here.
So-
Doop-a-doop-it.
How's life as a turtle been for you? Or sorry, what you're a turtle now?
I'm not gonna lie. I became a turtle, and then lost my soul and went through some shit, and haven't really lived life as a turtle yet.
I see.
I became a turtle and went through some shit, and haven't really got to live life yet.
Is everything like in slow motion for you now, or is it pretty normal speed?
That might be the turtle thing, but I think it's the hits to the head.
Ah, gotcha. Well.
Yeah, but I mean, I guess there's worse races to be. Could be an
Well-
Asgard. I mean, a kobold.
Wow.
Yeah, those things are as much as they are peculiar, I'm not a fan of them. For some reason Oz is though. He likes kobolds for some reason.
I actually have no issue with. I just heard that others don't
Okay.
like them.
I
And
know.
If you haven't,
I mean, I'm
noticed,
not, I'm not speciest or anything, but I wouldn't prefer to be around them or trust them.
Sam, be careful, please.
Okay. So
I'm not racist. I just prefer not to be around.
you you come across God. Okay, you begin kind of closing in on the kind of inner zone of the forest. You're now quite a bit into it. You guys have been traveling for about an hour and a half. So it's been about what we'll say like 4-5 hours since you left Thunder's Reach, pretty much. As you get closer and closer into the forest, you notice that despite the time of day, it's still technically like relatively early. It's probably around 11 or noon. It almost seems like the sun has started going down. It's slowly getting this weird twilight vibe to it the further you get into the forest. Zuma, you're familiar with this particular effect. You continue in the forest. You see a couple of sites that you managed to get around just by virtue of the fact that you guys wouldn't even have to roll for these. They're so easy to kind of skirt around. At one point you see a very large beast, insect-like creature snacking on the carcass of a grizzly bear. Notable, the grizzly bear is huge. Zuma, you've seen these. Groin, you've not seen grizzly bears like this before. Like this bear is bigger than your bear form. Very much just a dire bear.
I would like to roll. for
Groin
this
has
to
learned a
see
new
if I can
shapeshift.
turn- I was gonna say, can I turn into this?
So roll me a wisdom check real quick.
Alright.
Yeah, I'll take it. I'll take it.
What the fuck, dude? God
I'll take
damn it.
I would say advantage is fair here. Because you are in the Veilwood.
Still just
Yeah,
come
no, it's
on.
fine. I will say you have learned the dire bear wild shape. You see this thing and you're like, whoa.
Can you add that to my sheet, or do I need to find? Is that
I
actually a
will.
thing?
Yes, it is actually
Okay.
a thing. I will add the stat block to it. It's pretty ferocious. It's a pretty fearsome creature.
I like
Nice.
to imagine the RPG like character sheet where we all have portraits and stuff, right? And it's just
Mhm.
like Groin has learned a new skill.
Yeah, it's just like little, like 3 little stars
Yep.
pop up next to his portrait.
Yep.
I just realized something. Can we spend the next week just exploring this island so I can get to know?
You just learn how
Can
to
I also,
transform into
yo,
a
can I
giant crab.
also become the basilisk? Holy shit. Can I roll
Basilisk
for
is
that?
it's a monstrosity.
Fuck
so you
you,
wouldn't
it's a
be able to.
monstrosity, it's an animal.
Oh, a monstrosity, man.
It
I
can
would've
look
had-
at you
I
and turn
would've,
you into stone. I don't know if there's any animals that can do that.
But
It is a
Yeah,
monstrosity.
Science just
Just have
hasn't
a
caught up
giant-
to it yet.
God damn.
Get a sample of it. Here's what we'll do. Okay, we will hybrid breed you a basilisk that is an animal.
Listen, the next campaign is just going to be nothing but Monster Hunter in this kind of setting, so I don't know.
Leland
Okay.
can
I have
do
to play
shit
a
with
druid
souls.
again?
I'm sure if I throw just like enough souls at it, I can do whatever the fuck I want.
Give
Bring
me
me a
another
sample.
wisdom check. Give me another wisdom check.
All right. Come on, Daddy.
You're an
needs
18th
you.
level druid. Okay. You start to ponder on this basilisk thing. You'll maybe. Might have to try it out later.
Definitely will try it out later.
We'll see. We don't know what's happened yet. So yeah, you bypass this massive insect, which you would know is an Umber Hulk. You
Can we make a handshake deal real quick? Can you
Yes,
just tell
what?
me if any of these things that we're passing actually have any
I will.
value? Okay.
I mean,
thank
yeah, sure. You pass a group of these small creatures, which you see. You both have seen these before once or twice. They're pretty rare, but they do live in really particular areas. A group of small fairy dragons have a handful of birds that are all chasing them around. Fairy dragons are dragons.
Still an animal.
Dragons are not an animal. A handful of fairy dragons are basically playing catch with what looks to be one of this bird's eggs, and this bird is very angry about it.
I would be pissed too.
Right? Fairy dragons are known to be kind of a little bit assholes.
Mischievous.
Yes, they're mischievous. They're basically pixies, but dragons.
Yeah.
And then finally, you come across a handful of satyrs, which are interesting. It's interesting because Zuma, you've lived here for a long time. You didn't know satyrs existed in the Veilwood. You guys have seen satyrs before in the Feywild, but that's the only place you've seen these. And they're all sitting on various like sitting implements. There's one's got a stone, one's got a stump, one's got a kind of pushed over log, and they have this tiny, really small blue fire they're all sitting around. The fire itself almost seems to dance, and one of them is looking to almost seems to control the fire and making shapes with it in the air. And as you come across, one of them looks at you and it, who the hell are you?
We're just
move.
passing
They
through.
don't know who you are.
know, we're not
He moved. Okay.
we're not really bothering anybody. We're just, visiting
Uh,
friends.
Listen, I'm gonna tell you if you're bothering somebody, okay? It's gonna be all right. Just, who are you and what are you doing in my part of the woods?
Your part of the woods. I
This is
figured
my
the
part of the
Veilwood
woods.
was-
This is my part of the woods.
We are just travelers moving forward across through the wood. No
Right.
harm here.
He raises an eyebrow, looks at two of the other satyrs that are kind of sitting across from him. You know these jokers? And the satyrs, I don't know them. No, boss.
Fuck.
He turns around, gets up, and he stands up to his full height, which is about 2.5 feet. So not exactly intimidating, but he walks the walk, even if he doesn't have the build for it. He walks up to you. You see, the way I see it, there's a toll here in the Veilwood. You got any and he leans in. You got any of them purple berries?
Purple berries?
Yes.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cast
my friend here
Goodberry.
has a.
You cast Goodberry?
Yeah.
Okay.
I have no clue what color Goodberry is.
They're normally red, but I feel like you would be able to color them as a like very established druid, because this is a spell you've had like
since level 1.
since level 1. I feel like you would be able to modify it just a tiny bit. Yeah, sure. Okay, you conjure up some fucking purple berries, and he looks at him and goes, "Whoa, what? You got 10 of them? Oh man. Hey, they got some purple berries. They're good. They're good.
Oh,
Leave them
but-
alone. Don't mess with these guys."
But
Yeah.
I will give you each to pass through, but I will give you the rest to teach me a spell.
Teach you a spell.
Yes.
All right, I can do that. Yeah. How do you feel about fire?
Like where you're going.
All right, I like fire too. So here's what I can do. I can teach you how to make fire dance. You can make it any shape you want. You can make it, you can use the fire to make shapes and pictures and moving pictures. You can tell stories with the fire. You can color the fire. How about that?
Sounds like something I might know, but go ahead. I'm following.
Wait, okay, I can show you how to do this.
I'm laughing because I know what it is.
I think I know what it is too.
So, no, it's not thaumaturgy.
Oh.
And Heather, your
Oh,
mic's
it's Dancing
muted.
Light.
Nope, it's not Dancing Lights either.
You're lying.
So he spins. This will take you probably. You're a pretty established spellcaster, and as he begins explaining how to cast this spell, and like getting in tune with nature and everything, you can tell this guy's a very, 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 very basic druid. I mean, this guy is like entry level, just started. You
but
know,
they're also from the Fae, and that's
they're
the
also
It's
only
the
reason I
basic
asked.
sketch of druids.
yeah, yes. So, over the next 30 minutes, because he starts to explain the spell to you, and you're like, wait a minute, I kind of already know how to do this a little bit. Yeah. And then you pick it up, and by the end of this 30-minute period, you actually, you're doing it way better than he is. And he's just like, well, shit. Well, just give me the berries. And you can add the control flame cantrip to your spell list. Heather, your mic's muted.
Why is that not popping?
Ah, my mic is muted. That's because I was stuffing my
Control
face with
flame.
Reese's.
It is because it's not in the compendium. Give me 1 second. I will add it to your.
Cheat.
See, I
Control
thought you were
flames.
gonna do just produce flame, which I already have.
See, produce flame is fun, but control flames is like,
Yeah.
it's basically shape water but with fire.
Awesome.
Yeah.
So now
give
I
me-
have shape water, control flame, produce
Um,
flame.
You can do heat metal, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I have a
Well,
few
I don't
spell
think I
scrolls
have
for
it
heat
prepared
metal,
right now.
so if you ever need to use that spell, I have one spell scroll of heat metal that I can't cast, I don't think.
No, you can't.
What level spell is heat metal again?
2nd level. Control flame, import
Yeah, I don't have
spells.
it prepared right now.
Scrolls, keep in mind you don't have to have them prepared anyway.
No, I was just. Sorry.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine. All right, control flame should be on your sheet now.
Need to move that.
It is. You're the
Excellent.
best.
So you
How do
can
I-
pick. You can pick a non-magical flame that you can see within range, and it doesn't have like an attack or anything. It's
No.
mostly for flavor.
Mostly
you
for
can-
flavor.
Yeah.
Like Goodberry.
Choose a non-magical flame you can see within range that fits within a 5 feet cube. You can affect it in one of the following ways. You can either expand the flames to 5 feet in one direction, provided that wood or another fuel is present. You can instantaneously extinguish the flames, double or halve the area of bright or dim light cast by the flame, change its color, or both. You can cause simple shapes such as vague forms of creatures, inanimate objects, etc., to appear in the flames and animate as you like.
I can have some fun with this. Okay.
Yeah, it's a really fun spell. It's one of my favorites.
I hand over the rest of the berries and.
We got some purple berries, guys.
Purple berries. Well, we're gonna be on our way.
Yeah, we're gonna be on our way too.
Okay. Let's
And
go.
he passes them out, and you all,
We're walking
go your
away
separate
before
ways.
they try it.
He's
Exactly.
gonna be real upset here in a second.
2 hours later, one guy's like, boss, I don't think I'm feeling anything. Should I take another? Anyways, and then you finally reach the border zone where the inner zone of the forest kind of comes to light. As a note, it is almost full twilight right here. Even though the sun should be high in the sky, there is no sun noticeable. It is a it is a dark, not dark, but dim light. You can hear the noises of the insects around you, cicadas, crickets. There's all sorts of different, dragonflies even. You pass a small pond, not even probably 15 feet across, in the forest, and there's lots of different, all of the insects associated with ponds, and you see like these little furry critters that are drinking out of it. And then you come across these really bright blue mushrooms. They're not really mushrooms in the traditional sense. You've played Skyrim, right? Like we've all played Skyrim.
Yeah.
Okay. You remember? Okay. You remember Blackreach, the like dark place that you go in Skyrim?
Yeah.
No.
Okay, hold on. I'll get you a picture.
Is that the Brotherhood or?
No,
Oh no!
Blackreach is the big ass underground place that you can go to.
It's required
Mhm,
for
I remember
DC
that, yeah.
DLC, I think.
I'm not gonna lie. I played Skyrim for the sole reason of making the Dark Brotherhood campaign all the way through.
Fair.
It was a really good
So
campaign.
I'm gonna post it in AshWinter. This is what the Blackreach looks like.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
There's these glowy blue mushrooms everywhere,
Yeah,
and these you see these starting to kind of spring out of the ground, and you notice that they follow a very specific pattern right away. And in Izumi, you see these, these to be the kind of border of the inner zone of the forest where you don't go. You've never been past this border.
Would you say the inner zone is the danger zone, and we've been on the highway to it?
I have to go. Y'all have a great night. I need to leave.
Highway to the
Just no.
inner zone.
Okay, so yeah, you
I haven't heard that in months.
you see the mushrooms, point them out, and you begin kind of looking around. You know that the way to track Oishi is by kind of following this border zone, because he does live on this border zone. What was the wisdom save for?
I was gonna try to eat one.
Oh god.
Okay, so you bend down and you kind of sniff one, and like Zuma, you're watching him is getting really uncomfortably close to crossing the border, and Oishi always told you never cross the border.
Groin, just
Oh.
it's not worth it. Trust me.
You get a good whiff of one. It smells like the worst shit you've ever had in your nostrils. It
I'm
is.
gonna challenge you on this.
You
How
really-
would you know not to go there if you've never been there?
I've seen what can happen, and I don't want to. I don't want
How
to.
do you
It
know
happen
that happened. No,
because I
whatever.
saw it happen.
Yeah. Okay.
Just when we meet Oishi, ask him about his scars, and he'll tell you.
Never trust an old man. Anyways,
Damn.
to be fair, like you've gotten growing in like his most exploratory phase where you don't listen to shit.
Right. Fair. Yeah. So, do you eat one of the mushrooms?
No.
Okay.
no.
Great. Yeah. They smell like rotten potatoes and rotten eggs at the same time. It's not pleasant. but you kind of start circling them. You notice there's these little motes of light that kind of float in the air within this dim light, in this kind of almost darkness. They do tend to illuminate the forest itself, and they come in seemingly all different colors. You can find them from reds to blues to sapphire blue to cyan to pink to orange to green. There's just all different colors of these little tiny motes of light. Each of them is smaller than like even a firefly. And they just seem to kind of float around, almost like dust in a light beam. And when you go to touch one, your hand just kind of passes straight through it. They're just ethereal in nature. On the border zone, the sound of the insects is quiet. There's life here, but it seems almost skittish, like it's hiding. And you begin trying to track Oishi around the border of the inner Veilwood. I will need survival checks from both of you, or one of you can roll with advantage. Either one.
Well, we both rolled,
Okay.
so
Nice. Okay. Yeah.
as you said that, but
That's fine. 27 and a 17, pretty good. Oishi is a master hunter, but he never really has reasons to cover his tracks most of the time. That said, he doesn't leave many tracks, so he's still hard to track. But with a 27 and a 17, you do manage to start picking up on a trail of who you might think is Oishi. You see some moss at the base of a tree that has been greatly disturbed. Looks like, this would be a good place to rest. Tracking around, you find discarded a chewed root, which animals wouldn't do this. Not like that. This is like neatly trimmed little root, and you pick it up. It's I don't know, what is it? It's sassafras.
Ooh,
And yeah,
root beer.
yeah, except slightly poisonous.
Yeah.
You
those aren't slightly poisonous. Anyways, continue.
whoa, I mean, that's another discussion, but you ain't wrong. Yeah, you managed to start picking up on a trail. However, following the trail itself is a little more difficult, and this could take you some time if you don't manage to pick it up more. I would need 2 more survival checks or 1 with advantage.
We'll go with advantage.
Sure. 28. 28. You continue on the trail, easily starts picking it up now. He, like I said, he doesn't have a reason to cover his tracks, even though he's typically kind of hard to find because he doesn't leave much. You do manage to pick up on something, and you find some footprints in the damp earth underneath, which, as a note, it's the ground beneath you is either soft grass and dirt or moss, or like leaves and small foliage. That is pretty much all the ground is. You see no like rock or anything like that, no clay. It's just soft dirt, grass, moss, and small foliage. It is pillow soft. I mean, the layer of kind of moss and grass over the top of the ground itself, you could sleep on comfortably. But it being this soft, moss is a little spongy, but it takes a while to get back into its original shape. And it does leave footprints if you step on it. And you do find some footprints of the telltale bare feet that Oishi goes around the Veilwood with. Quickly picking up on the trail. Let's see. Yeah. You start to realize that you're getting pretty close. Now, how are you doing this investigating in particular? Are you doing it rushed, or are you taking your time?
I'm gonna be taking my time.
Got it.
I'm a turtle. We're taking our time.
Eventually, taking your time is probably a good idea, because eventually you do happen across a vine rope hanging from the very high canopy of a tree, and you look up, and there's a set of branches that have been almost seemingly woven together. And sitting atop those branches is a very old elf. Elves look young even into their very old ages, but when they reach the end of their natural life, which is around anywhere from 600 to 750, maybe even 800 years for really special cases, they do start to rapidly age. And you do see an elf sitting atop these branches that have been woven together, long gray beard tied in different styles of braid all across I mean, we're talking like a beard as big as his body, and it's tied in 1,000 different styles of braids, and some of the braids are all kind of like bound together to create this one big mass. He has no hair on his head, except for like just a bare wisp right at the crown, basically, that's just kind of still hanging on there. And he has huge bushy eyebrow. It's like two caterpillars on top of his eyes. And just all gray hair. He has a pipe in his mouth, some kind of smoke coming off of it. You know that he's a little strange. He doesn't smoke tobacco in his pipes. He actually usually smokes moss in his pipes, and he will flavor it with different things from the woods.
Sounds like my type of guy.
Right. And he's sitting cross-legged in his very kind of bare bones uniform or outfit that he usually wears. It's really bare bones. It's not that far off of like a loincloth and a bare shirt, basically. But he looks down at you. Oh, wait. No. Oh, get out. Wait, no, that's not the Veilwood doing that. Inazuma? Inazuma.
My name's Groin.
Growing. Well, for somebody that's growing, you're not that tall.
Bad
I kneel down in front of him and I bow and I say, Master. It's
Oh,
been a
you
long
can't call me
time."
master anymore. I'm like, look at you. You just tracked me through the veil. You can tell he's just almost a little like, it's like watching your student come back. You know, you trained this kid in like programming or something, and now they're like one of the Microsoft programmers or something. You're just like, whoa,
Yeah.
what's going on with you? Track me through the Veilwood. That's insane. Used to not even be able to hold a bow straight. And
Yeah.
he goes. He makes a motion almost like he's about to hop off of the tree, but instead one of the branches gently lowers him down, and he kind of gently steps off of it and takes a few steps forward and walks up to you and grabs you by the shoulders and goes, "No, let me have a look here." And he like spins your head around a little bit and feels your biceps and your triceps. Keeping in shape. How is your water intake? Water is very important.
I drink water.
Okay, good. Still staying away from alcohol?
He drinks alcohol. Lots of copious amounts of alcohol.
This one here, he's hilarious, and I kind of like elbow him in the head.
I may not be on copious alcohol.
It's such a pleasure. You're a friend of Inazuma.
Yes.
Yeah, sure. We'll say that. Yes.
That was
Wow.
not certain. Of course. He takes another just big hit of his pipe, and then he takes his thumb and then mashes out whatever's in there, and then turns around and dumps it into on the ground. Puts it up in his. He's basically got this like little tiny, very small, what amounts to a fanny pack on his side, and he puts it, stores it in there. And, well, I did not expect a visit from an old student of mine. What do I owe the pleasure?
Well, it's been a while, but I think I spoke with you through spell
You did?
quite a while ago.
I think it was a very long time ago.
It was, and many things
Months?
happened. But
Like what?
well, and I start basically telling him what's going on, but I do it in a very Zuma way where I'm like kind of tripping over my words and stuff, and I'm like all over the place. But I eventually get to the point.
And then there was this vampire, and I don't know, he looks really ugly, and then but he caught Suki. That's not important. And then I shot him in the chest, and he died. Oishi kind of listens to you the whole time, but he does take you, kind of does the let's walk motion, and he does what he's always used to do when you were talking to him. He kind of takes you through the forest, and you walk the perimeter of the inner zone while you're talking, and he doesn't acknowledge, he doesn't do the like everyone else does. He just listens, not a sound until you're done with your story.
Gotcha.
And he stops it. So Thunder's Reach is good, though. You've got it
It is
figured out.
Well, Suki and lady, the lady who helped us with the battle, they're the ones really taking the point. There's an overarching thing that's going on in the world, and I am a champion that has been selected among my other friends. And
Wow.
we are to practically save the world.
Oh, that's pretty accurate.
That seems amazing.
It is. I met my deity.
Your deity, huh?
Yes. You see, when we were attacking the castle to take it back, I was struck with a hammer, a very big hammer made of lightning, and it teleported me to this plane where we fought basically almost another deity. He wants to be a deity. Yes, I was basically forced into servitude among the Scod.
Well,
but I've
that
come
doesn't
to,
sound too pleasant.
Well, come to realize he really didn't force me. It was more or less he saw me and he actually saved my life.
Saved you.
I would have died if he hadn't have intervened. So could say that lightning struck that day.
Don't ever do that again.
I learned it from you. I mean, you can't deny that.
You get a huge shove from a fucking 700-pound turtle. He listens and kind of affirms your story. I don't keep much track of the goings on of the world around outside of this forest. It is good to see you, though, and good to hear news from the outside. It's been, I don't know, 7, 8 months, maybe longer, since I've really talked to anybody. The hunters that were stationed here are all recalled. It's just me here, I think. And there's only so much an old man can do.
You probably knew what happened to Rakiri.
I had heard. And I know.
And you know that I was responsible.
He kind of sighs and takes some more. He scoops some moss from the ground and kind of packs it in his pipe for a minute. And he takes this little tiny vial out of the pack, and he sprinkles some kind of powder into it. And he takes his hands and he snaps his fingers, and a little bit of fire comes at the edge of his fingers, and he lights the pipe. And he takes a little bit of a puff from it. I think responsibility is a funny thing. Responsibility is something that we assign ourselves and that the world assigns to us. But it is something that, while we can acknowledge, we can also overcome. Your responsibility... You are not responsible for Rikiri's death. Did you kill Rikiri? And he turns to you now, just full blow, like, in your face. And he says, yes. You killed Rikiri. But does that mean that you chose to do it?
No. I was tricked into it.
We
but
people
no, I didn't.
are a series of choices. Choices and memories. That's all we are. And he just takes another puff on his pipe and kind of lets that sit.
He has been avenged, though. Right has been wronged. So I guess you could say that my burden is lifted, but the scars, physical and emotional, still remain. But I have come to grips with what happened, and I know now that all this happened for a reason, and that reason is for me to have realized that I was overconfident in many ways. You know that. And this
I remember the first time you tried to scale the Grand Tree. The look on your face when you hit that first branch told me everything I needed to know about you. I made it. I did it. I made that first branch, and then you looked up and you saw that there were 148 more to go, and you decided that that was no problem. And by the 50th one, your little arms... Overconfidence is a problem, but some confidence is needed, and scars will remain. Scars are helpful to an extent. Without scar tissue, you can't ever get stronger.
Yeah. I rub the scars that are on my face right now to kind of... I was like, yeah, I know something about scars.
Good. You can use them to teach others.
Well, yes, and I nearly died because of my overconfidence. Guess I'm still learning.
Me too. He takes another puff of his pipe. Inazuma, it is very good to see you.
Master, I have a question for you.
I have an answer.
I know that when we parted ways last time, you were going to retire. I think your words were, you were going to settle in the forest because it was your home.
Of course.
But I have to ask, if you knew what was going on, did you not have a thought about helping at all?
He takes one deep breath, and you can see him almost, his face... Oishi's not really one to hide emotions. He kind of almost embraces them. You've seen him cry. You've seen him in furious rage. You've seen him in joy. He is a man of extremely intense emotion. And for a moment, you kind of see his lip quiver for a second. I had thought maybe they need my help. Maybe they need me to guide them. I had thought maybe I can go to the battlefield again, a soldier once more risen from the ashes of the young phoenix that he used to be, but that's impractical. It's a dream. I could kill 100 of Embergrasp's men. They would bring 1,000 more. I could kill 1,000 of Embergrasp's men. They would have 10,000, and so on. And while Thunder's Reach will always have a place in my heart, and he kind of gestures to the forest around him, this is my home now. I have lived in this place for 3 centuries, more. I can't even remember at this point. And I have been its guardian. Do you know Zuma, do you know what the mushrooms are? And he points to one. You guys are probably not even 50 feet from the border.
You told me that they have a purpose, but yet that purpose is only known to those who have walked the path, something to that degree. You know how my memory is.
Gives a nod. Mine too these days. He bends down and he takes one of the mushrooms from the border. He kind of walks over to it, takes one of the mushrooms from the border, and he plucks it out of the ground. And he spins it in his hand, and you can see it. It literally glows with this really dim blue light. And he turns around and he hands one to you. Just hands it over. Take this.
I take it.
It feels strange. It's almost warm in your hands, strangely. Whereas a normal plant or fungus would be, kind of the ambient temperature of whatever's around it. This mushroom feels hot to the touch. It's almost like it has a fever, if you will. And he points to the mushroom cap itself, and he's split that open. Just tear into it. Not going to hurt you.
I do what he says.
You tear into it, and you quickly feel something hard inside of the cap. And then, as you tear into it, you feel a couple of more, and parts of the cap come away, and you see these small little silver, they look like beads, kind of hidden inside of the mushroom itself. And he picks one out of your hand. What is this? You can roll a nature check for me if you want.
Nature.
Groin, you can too.
Okay.
Yep.
Sheesh.
Hmm.
A 1 and a 2.
Yeah, 1 and a 2. Neither of you really have any idea. It almost looks it's chrome in color. It's like a little silver bead, very reflective. And it's hard to tell because it's so close to the mushroom, but you see how it kind of almost glows a little bit with the same blue light. And he takes one and he bends down to the spot where he just yanked that mushroom out, and he takes his finger and he digs this tiny little hole, and then he just places the piece of metal down there, and he pushes it over. And then he places his hand on it for a minute, and you see this tiny, just slight green light emanate from his hand. And you see a vine starting to sprout out of the place that he just put that bead. And from the vine itself, as this vine withers, you watch a mushroom begin growing out of it. Another blue one. That. These mushrooms are not native to this forest. They were brought here, not sure by who. Perhaps thousands of years ago. We have no written record of it.
Excuse me.
But they are very important to us in this forest. There is a series of guardians that have lived here. I am the latest in a long, long line that goes far back, too far for us to remember, too far for us to have any written information on, or anything more than oral tradition. I barely remember my master. But our job is to make sure these mushrooms are always in place all along the border. It's not to keep anything out. It is to keep something in. The inside of the Veilwood, the true Veilwood, is a very dangerous place. If these mushrooms were not to be there, if there were any hole in our defenses, I think it could escape. And I'm not sure that I would have the ability to stop it. Nor you, or your friend here.
What is it?
What is, yeah, what he said.
It is a great and terrible beast. But it's not a beast like you know. It does not have fangs and horns. Rather, it is a passenger. Those that enter this barrier, after some short time, often don't want to return. It's not that the inside of the forest will rip you apart, or it may. There are basilisks about. There are saber-toothed cats about. Dire bears. Of course, the forest is dangerous. But the danger isn't the wildlife, it's the magic. There is a charm on the center of this forest. I don't know how to lift it. My master didn't know how to lift it. Her master didn't know how to lift it.
Would it change anything if it was lifted?
Perhaps. But for now, I plant the mushrooms, and I live here. And someday, I will die. And I will pass the mantle on to some other hunter. A guardian of this forest.
I wonder who
I
that
was-
would be.
I'm not sure. And he just kind of gives you one tiny look, just kind of a sly glance out of the corner of his eye. But I'm sure they would need to be brave and pure of heart and capable. Somebody that could take on the dangers of the forest and live here comfortably for the rest of their days. Somebody that doesn't mind a little bit of... somebody that doesn't mind a little bit of mushroom every now and then.
Very much on it.
He takes a piece of the mushroom and he pops it in his mouth. And just chews.
Is it good?
Oh no, it tastes terrible. I did want to make a point though, but now I'm starting to slowly regret it. Like his chewing no.
Oh,
His chewing like slows down slightly, and you watch him swallow with great difficulty. I'm still learning too.
Yeah. Oh, I wanted to show you something.
Yes.
I take out my bow, and I tap it,
Mhm.
and I do my zippy zap thing.
There's like a momentary, almost thunder crack as you teleport, just become an arc of lightning and teleport from one space to another. And his eyes go wide. You have grown, haven't you?
You could say in a flash.
It's a natural one. Thank you all for playing AshWinter. This has been the end of the campaign. Oh God.
Why are you like this?
and I say, well, and I also, well, here, I want you to hold this bow and just tell me what you feel.
No.
With what you.
You stop that.
He takes the bow and he holds it. This is a very special weapon. I think I'd call it sacred. And he holds it for a moment. And he starts to kind of sit down cross-legged, and he places it in his lap. Places both hands, one on either side of the grip. He nods. Uh-huh. No, but you will take care of him, won't you?
Wait, what?
I see. Oh, I don't need to know anything. Like, no, stop.
I thought you
Ah,
were mute.
of course. No, of course. Well, when you put it that way. Yes. He gets up after just sitting there in silence for probably a full 60 seconds, and he hands you the bow back.
Can you understand her?
Well, of course. Don't you?
I only get a feeling. I don't really hear any words.
Hmm. Sometimes feelings are all you really need.
Yeah.
Well, it has been a wonderful time meeting you. Are you staying here in the forest for the night?
Looks like it. I figured, we could reminisce a little bit more and could tell you some more stories. Maybe let you know that I found love.
Oh, we have to hear. I heard a little bit about that earlier.
How did you find out about that?
You need to not keep your weapon in the room.
Right.
Sentient
Well.
weapon equals eyeballs, and it can't stop watching.
Well, that's not. It's like a Clockwork Orange. Just like, no, turn me around.
But you literally can't.
So
I kind of look at the bow. I'm like, why? Start like muttering to the bow.
you get a feeling of almost like shame. It's a shame and like indignance.
It's like an anime blush.
It's almost like an anime blush combined with a frown.
Yeah.
It's like an angry anime blush. And you and Oishi kind of he takes a handful of rocks gathered from the surrounding area and about probably 20-30 feet off of the border. He puts them all together and places his hands on them, and you watch them start to heat up to this, like cherry red color. And it's not a fire, but he has a heaping like pile of just super hot rocks, and so you have this pseudo bonfire, and you all kind of sit around it, spend the next several hours just passing stories. And he regales you with stories, and he's always been a storyteller. He's always been a talker, somebody that's had a lot to say and says it in a lot of words. But he's lived for a long time, and he's not even really sure how long. He just knows it's been centuries and centuries. And he regales you with stories, and you tell some of your own. I imagine Groin probably joins in, or no?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course. Groin joins in, and after a little while, he goes to a tree and he digs up some of the dirt, and he pulls out this wooden, like a wooden container with a stopper on it, and he comes over and he unstops it, takes a big swig out of it, and he hands it directly to you, Inazuma. I know I told you not to drink alcohol, but special occasions for old friends.
Of course.
Take a drink of it.
Oh yeah.
It's elderberry wine. So good. And kind of you all just sit there around the quote-unquote fire, drinking some elderberry wine and sharing some stories and watching the wildlife. Zuma, you've seen a lot of the wildlife. Of course, Oishi's seen, all of everything this forest has to offer, more or less. Groin, you have not seen some of it, and some of it is ridiculous. There are squirrels with bird wings. There are dragonflies with like these weird beak heads. It's some of the wildlife in this forest is just it starts to seem unnatural, and then it's like, oh wait, no. Everything here this is just its native environment. It is perfectly natural. Really strange forest, really peaceful place. Little motes of light floating all over the place. It's basically Fern Gully. And that is how the night passes. And as a note, the ground when you go to sleep, it's like sleeping on like down feather blankets and stuff. It's like
Feels good, man.
yeah. And that is how the night passes and ends. Is anyone else doing anything throughout this day?
I am, but
Okay.
I'd rather wait for Steven.
That is perfectly fine. My intention here is, and if anybody wants to do anything right now, let me know. But my intention is we can go ahead and end now if you want.
Yeah, I'm on with
Just
that.
keep it
This
a
feels
pretty
like a
short
good-
session.
I
Yeah, this
have
feels like
one
a
more
good-
thing I need to do.
Yeah, no problem. What's up?
I need to go to the two-headed ogre guy chocolate shop.
Ooh, I want Steven to be here for this one.
Okay.
Yeah, we can pick that
Alright.
up next session. The night's ended for Zuma and Groin, but we can pick up in the day for y'all.
All right.
So, Spirit, was there anything you wanted to accomplish before the session ended?
I wasn't able to think of anything.
That's perfectly fine. And we will pick up next session. That will end this one.